key differentiators that I one unified platform. So can UiPath really hold the millions of test cases?
ROI can companies typically expect when they are adopting UiPath test?
IDC's report $4 million of total benefits per organization.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Tech Talk discussions, where we deep dive into the latest trends, tools, innovations shaping the world of test automations. I'm your host Deepak Rai, and today we have a very exciting discussion lined up with one of the test suits leader, a game-changing solutions in the world of test automation. Whether you are a developer, US specialist, or a business leader interested in the future of automation, today's session is packed with insights and you don't want to miss it. Join me today, our special guest from UiPath, Jeevan Koneti, a test suite solution architect and research lead. He is an expert in test automation space, and here he will share his knowledge related to UiPath Test Suite, its latest trends, upcoming features, and how it's helping business across industries streamline the testing process. Thank you, Jeevan, for joining this talk, and we are happy to have you here.
Thank you, Deepak. It's so lovely to be here. Thanks for having me, and happy to share whatever I can. Hope it's valuable to the listeners. Yeah.
Definitely, because you are connecting with the different clients, you are trying to give some insights about the test automation. So that's the reason I thought maybe you are the best person where I can invite for these discussions. Before proceeding further, I would like you to give small introduction about yourself, and then we'll continue further with the next question.
Perfect. Sure. So, yeah, I started my work right after my engineering in computer science back in 2005 with Cognizant. And I was a test automation engineer there. So, test automation developer, right? So, it has been about close to 20 years of information technology work, and that was predominantly into software testing, right? So, and from the beginning, I've been into the test automation space, while test automation and manual testing coexist together because automation cannot completely replace manual testing. So we always perform manual and automation together, right? So during this 20 years, I've had an opportunity to work with various different test automation tools and test automation methodologies and various different customer application landscapes. Unfortunately, I've had an opportunity to work on large SAP engagements in for the last 15 years. So I'm quite familiar with the SAP landscapes and S/4HANA landscapes and the testing methodologies that a customer would require to ensure their SAP testing go effectively. So that's my additional skill as I would say, right? And I'm a trained enterprise architect, so that gives me the broader lens to look at testing from an enterprise perspective to see how we can optimize testing and QA programs across the enterprise rather than looking at a siloed way of implementing testing from project to project, right? So that's about me, and look forward to share with you any insights from my project experiences and the customer stories.
Thank you for your introductions. How does UiPath Test Suites differentiate itself from other test automation platform available today? We have a lot of test automation platform there, right? How this will differentiate in that vertical?
So one of the key differentiators that I see with UiPath is it offers one unified platform for both RPA and for testing and for processes, which basically gives a greater platform like an engineer or a test automation engineer like me to solve wider number of use cases, right? When I look at an enterprise, any big enterprise that you take like Microsoft or Apple, they have large number of testing activities going on across enterprise, large number of repeated activities in the production going on. And for an automation engineer like me, a tool like UiPath enables me to solve, right? I can innovate new solutions for my customers, right? If I would stick to just a standard siloed test automation tool, any other tool, my visibility is limited to a few use cases, whereas a broader platform like UiPath gives me more power and more capability to solve much bigger use cases, right? That's where I believe personally, UiPath gives me more capability and more power to innovate something for my customers.
That's great. And what role does UiPath Test Suite play in the broader RPA automation landscape? So here, as you mentioned, RPA, right? What type of broader expectations we can keep as a RPA platform?
Okay, so RPA, when we talk about it, right? So they are nothing but many softwares where certain tasks are automated and being deployed in your production landscapes, right? And while they're doing their tasks, the underlying systems are going through continuous changes, right? So the applications goes through a lot of changes, infrastructure goes through a lot of changes, and of course, UiPath as a product itself goes through a lot of quite a few changes as well. So with all of these changes, your bots will also require continuous maintenance, right? Traditionally, our customers used to do a lot of some of these maintenance manually, and with UiPath Test Suite available for them, they can automate that maintenance activity or mitigate the risk of having those bots being disrupted in the production can be avoided with UiPath Test Suite, right? So UiPath Test Suite as a test automation platform can be used for testing the RPA bots as well as testing your applications in the pre-prod space. So with one tool, you would basically be able to automate the tasks both in production and the testing way. So that's a quite a unique a solution, I would say, in the market, and very few OEMs have such capability available today. Yeah.
That's been one tool, multiple users.
Yeah.
Now, next question is what current trends are shaping the future of test automations and how is UiPath Test Suite aligning these trends?
Okay, so one key trend that you might have come across in the last couple of years is AI that I see is going to kind of change the software testing in general because software testing has been kind of stagnant, um, especially in the automation space. If you look at the growth of the usage of test automation in the industries, is not that great, right? So still a lot of studies from Gartner, Forrester, and IDC says that 80% of testing activities are still being done manually, right? In spite of a lot of test automation tools being available in the market. There are quite a good number of challenges with the existing tools, and I think AI is going to play a major role there uh, to um, to uplift test automation and then help all of these great manual testers and the business users who have been kind of left behind because of all these traditional complex test automation tools which require good amount of technical skill to operate. All of these the manual testers and business users were left behind, but with AI and and the tools, the automation tools which adapts this AI and simplify that experience of automating them or maintaining that automation is going to add tremendous value to an organization and also bring up all of these the talented business users and highly skilled manual testers or the analysts who understand the processes, who understand that industry. We're going to see them participating in the test automation lifecycle going forward. So that's what I feel. So with AI, the adoption of test automation is going to go in exponential mode, and which is good for the workforce and which is good for the companies as well, right?
That's great. So are there any upcoming features or enhancements which you see as most exciting for the user who is using test automation? Means, I mean, it's a roadmap point of view. I must say, yes, definitely that's related to the AI, but any specific feature you wanted to talk about it, which is upcoming?
Okay, so I'm super excited with all the AI stuff going on with UiPath, right? Is one of the first test automation platform which has the broad array of AI capabilities already present. Um, Along with that, you also have a lot of compliance foundation there, like trust layer, to help you ensure your data is not being leaked, your data is protected and secure, and all other stuff. AI is definitely one piece, and UiPath is trying to bring in a lot of AI synergies into the product, with not only customers having to leverage UiPath's own LLMs and AIs, but they can also bring their own industry-focused LLMs into the context and be able to leverage it. I think that's going to be a big piece. And the second thing that I'm quite excited about, selfishly, is SAP. Right, so UiPath and SAP has this great partnership going on, and with that, so what you're going to be seeing from the testing point of view, or in general automation point of view, is a lot of pre-built solutions and integrations with SAP and S4 platform. Uh, I think I'm looking forward to those capabilities. And of course, you might have heard about UiPath's change impact analysis for SAP,
Yeah.
wherein you will be able to now, with the autopilot's integration with change impact analysis, you will be able to generate test cases with AI based on your gaps and the impacted gaps, basically within minutes, based on SAP standard processes. That is, I think, very cool.
I've used Insight as well as SAP Heat Map, so I must say this will be game changing for the SAP customer who is using it in terms of change impact analysis. That's great. In terms of capabilities and use cases, when we are talking about the test automations, what industry or specific business functions benefit the most from UiPath test suites? If you will be able to share one success story, a story that will be beneficial for our viewers.
See, testing as a discipline is quite common in all the industries, right? But if you ask me to pick the top two industries, right, I would see banking and financial services um, usually adapt to the modern technologies in a faster way because of their regulations and their expectations and their need to comply with the industry standards and ensuring the data is secure, etc. This is where I commonly see a lot of banks and financial institutions are looking for most modern test automation platforms to ensure their testing is done in a faster way and their test data is managed in a secure way, right? And also the test automation platform can be scalable, right? If can be easily deployed in their own choice of cloud, or with OEM specific cloud like UiPath Cloud, right? So and we definitely see BFSI is one of those industries that is looking to adapt to all these modern technologies. And manufacturing sector, especially with SAP, is kind of pushing their customers to migrate from their legacy SAP landscapes to the modern S4 landscapes, which requires a humongous effort and investment to drive those huge migration programs, and wherein manual testing is no more an alternative and traditional testing tools does not offer a decent ROI to build the automation while the system is being developed. So I think modern testing tools like UiPath Test Suite has a huge benefit and a huge business case in that sector as well, especially in SAP side.
Okay. In extension to this question, if I will ask you in terms of UiPath test suite handle complex testing scenarios like SAP, Salesforce, or other ERP system, So how will see this?
Do you mean how well UiPath Test Suite can automate
Yes.
these complex packages? Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of our customers have one or the multiples of these complex packaged applications like SAPs and Oracles and Salesforce, Workday, such factors. And UiPath is a proven automation engine to work on all of these technologies, right? So UiPath has traditionally come from the production lens, production automation, right? So and we have always seen some of these applications being leveraged for automating the RPA bots, right? And I see sometimes traditional testing players see RPA platforms like UiPath coming into testing space will have challenges and thinking that RPA companies does not understand testing landscapes well. But my point of view is right. So just imagine you have a test case in your pre-prod environment, and for some reason you're not able to execute your automated test case, right? So risk is less there. I can always go ahead and run my test case manually and then validate whether my change is causing an issue or not. But in production, it is not that way. So when your bot fails, it is going to disrupt heavily, right? And a lot of these RPA platforms are quite intelligent, right? So they have a lot of intelligence built into the bots. They are not like engines where they execute just sequence of actions, but they also have a lot of intelligence on how to react when certain actions is not performed, and also so you're an RPA expert as well. So you kind of build in a lot of intelligence in the RPA side of it, right? The same kind of engine is now being available in the testing as well. So me being a test automation engineer, just imagine uh, the kind of test cases that I could build with such a powerful automation engine, right? So obviously, my automated test cases are going to be much more powerful than if I would automate the same test cases in a traditional testing engine, because traditional testing
Right.
engine is tries to just automate certain sequence of steps. So that's where I
Right.
really see, right? UiPath has a broader automation platform with a lot of intelligence capabilities that can be easily applied across these complex packaged applications as well. And we have seen a lot of customers using UiPath Test Suite for testing these applications.
That's great. When we are talking with the clients or customer, there will be always having one specific questions from everyone, right? In terms of scalability, right? Yes, definitely we are sharing our insight how we can scale it for the large enterprises. But when you will add your words, right, probably it will add more weightage. So what kind of scalability does UiPath Test Suites offer for large enterprises with extensive testing needs?
Okay, excellent, right? So we work with some of our customers who have large ERP landscapes, right? And they have millions of test cases across their organizations, right? And and with UiPath, we kind of propose a federated operating model, so where customers would drive the adoption of the tool and governance of the test automation tools across different teams and different application development teams across the organization. And then each of those individual teams will start building their automated test cases on their own. So they have their own teams, but roll up to a federated model of operating model, right? So that is one way in terms of operating model to scale up to an enterprise level, right? And the second thing is the technology level. So can UiPath really hold the millions of test cases, right? So UiPath test suite or automation engine is proven to run about 10,000 bots in parallel. So that's what the report I've seen when it was tested in one of the huge public sector organization in the US, where 10,000 bots to be executed in parallel. So it was proven to be working extremely well. So you can imagine the scale, right? So if you wanted to run 10,000 test cases in parallel, UiPath is capable to do it. So that's the test execution scalability. And from the platform level scalability, right? Of course, we would recommend to leverage our UiPath Automation Cloud for your test automation platform so that you can scale up your platform seamlessly as needed, right? So as you need more users, you just add them. As you need more services, you just enable them, right? And then you will be able to organize your users and services and licenses quite seamlessly across the platform with one single admin portal, right? So cloud, since UiPath has been following a cloud first methodology and cloud first architecture for implementing all the new capabilities, so it is kind of keeping the scalability in mind from the beginning, right? So and what I see with traditional test automation tools, the scalability is the problem. And a lot of times we work with our customers where they have some kind of test automations built with some traditional tools, but they get through the challenges within the first 2 years of their journey. Because as you continue to build your automated test cases, um, the maintenance of it and operating of your test automation programs with the traditional tools become very time intense. Right? So UiPath uses very modern architecture with packages and libraries that can be organized and completely segregated from your project workspace so that your project space can be limited, very lean, and your execution space can be lean because you're going to be executing test case by test case. You don't need to access the whole project when you execute it. Yeah.
So as you mentioned, Strolly, we have also implemented one of the process in the Switzerland-based client, and they were having around 3,000 test cases, and it was working very smoothly. That's a scalable point, I would say.
Yeah.
Now,
Thank you.
coming down to the yeah, please. Coming down to the next questions, what kind of ROI can companies typically expect when they are adopting UiPath Test
That's a great question. So we have recently seen IDC's report. There was an extensive study conducted to validate the kind of ROI that our customers are getting using UiPath Test Suite. So IDC is a third-party analyst firm. So they've conducted this study. So they've come up with these numbers, right? So they see about $4 million of total benefits per organization. And within the 3 years, customers sees about 530% of ROI, and the payback on their investment is proven to be achieved within the first 6 months. So these are the numbers from IDC, right? I hope that answers your questions.
Yeah, that's true, but it's a very big number, I would say, in terms of ROI. Okay, so if any company is thinking to start with test suite or starting with the test automations using UiPath set test suite packages, so which type of challenges they will typically face in initial phases and how they can overcome it?
Okay, so do you mean when a customer would start their test automation implementation
Yeah,
journey, the
yeah,
common challenge they would face? Okay, so typically, right? So this is a common journey, right? So you have a customer would have at least a couple of team members or a service delivery partner who is thorough with UiPath test implementation methodology, the project methodology. It's going to be very easy. And we see sometimes that uh, customers believe that tool is so easy that they can automate things by themselves without having any structure or any process or a project methodology in place. Um, though you can automate some use cases, you will quickly realize if you don't follow certain best practices, if you don't follow that governance structure, so you're going to get into those standard maintenance issues and the team complaining on one another of another on the testing and automation issues, right? So that's the common thing. So what I would suggest as a best practice is engage with a service delivery partner or hire a couple of UiPath experts who can help you, guide you, set up your project the right way, help guide you, the governance, the processes are set up the right way so that you can scale up your automation program quite seamlessly after your initial 6 months or 8 months, right? And of course, your organization is quite familiar with UiPath test processes and project methodologies, and you have implemented yourselves quite a few test automation projects, right? So you might have seen a lot of these best practices as well. When you don't follow these standard project methodologies and best practices, right? So you will get into the issues quite sooner. Yeah, that's what I personally think. And also make sure your team members go through a standard structured training program. So UiPath provides you the standard curriculum on Test Suite, and leverage them and make sure all your team members go through the training program. They are aware of all the capabilities and the features available that can be leveraged for your test automation program is what I commonly recommend as an architect to my customers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Julian. And here, there's a complete wrap of the questionnaire. It was not scripted at all. It's on the fly. I tried to shoot the questions based on our experience, and even Jeevan also answered very well to all those questions. Any final thoughts from your side, or any key takeaways which you wanted to give to our viewer when they wanted to start with the UiPath Test Suite?
Okay, so I would suggest that go ahead and explore the tool. It is available for you. You can just sign up for a community plan or the trial instance. Try it yourself. And if you're a manual test engineer, uh, so you have a thorough 40-hour training program available. Go through and take it up. I think it is a good tool, and then you will love it. If you are an automation engineer yourself and a skilled, having good skills with any other test automation platform, picking up with Test Suite is going to be quite seamless. We have a fast track training program, which is 4 hour long training program for test automation experts, right? For you to just have a look at it and try it out yourself and see it yourself, right? So the kind of the capabilities that you're going to get with UiPath, and I'm sure you will love it. And we are happy to hear your feedback. And of course, Deepak does a lot of great work with UiPath. Pass your feedback to Deepak. And our test suite, if you have seen how it was about 4.5 years ago, 5 years ago when it was initially launched, and today it is quite a journey, and I'm super excited for the roadmap for the next couple of years as well. So you're going to see uh, quite a new improvement. And if you're looking to build your career in the test automation space or in SAP testing space or in enterprise testing space, I think you're going to be hearing UiPath Test Suite quite frequently going forward. So that's what I sincerely believe, because unified platform is going to change the game, right? One automation platform for an enterprise is going to change the game. Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And UiPath has evolved a lot, being the SAP heat map, insights, GenAI capabilities, as well as now they are launching the performance testing space as well. So it's very big journey. And thank you, Jeevan, for sharing your detailed insight with our viewer. Thanks a lot for taking out your time from your busy schedule, of course, and sharing the detailed insight with our viewer. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Deepak. It was so nice, and I was a little bit reluctant. So you haven't shared any questions with me, but I think you have made me comfortable to share my views, and I'm happy to listen to what viewers or listeners share as a feedback. So it's yeah, look forward to it.